Hello and welcome to your GG replay for Friday, June 25th, 2021. This is a Monday, Wednesday, Friday show where we break down the latest in gaming news, hosted by the Goodnight Groofs, a place for games and a place for goofs. We're working on that one. We'll get you something. I am Paul, and I am joined as always by Matt. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good, Paul. I'm doing really well today. You see, I've got the V-neck, so I'm feeling confident, showing off a
Yeah,
little bit more
absolutely.
skin today.
Oh,
Yeah. Any big
summer,
weekend
you got
plans
to
for you?
enjoy yourself.
Any big weekend plans coming up?
Nothing. Nothing exciting over here. Might be playing some video games, staying inside. My dog's doing okay, but we just found out he needs to stay inside for a bit. He's got a little bit of fever, so we gotta
Oh,
gotta stay home with him, which is okay because it just gives me more opportunities to sit in the dark basement and play video games. So
there you go.
could
There
be
you go.
worse. Could be worse. I'm gonna have
I
to go outside, which would be a real problem for me.
I have similar plans. Probably beat
Yeah,
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. If not
nice.
today, then probably sometime this weekend. And then I got to figure out what I'm moving on to next. I'm not sure.
Oh,
I'm
not
think.
sure. Maybe some of what we talk about today will bring you to your next game of choice.
Oh, maybe.
We don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff I feel like today that might steer you in the direction of a new game. So that's exciting. Just to start off, as we always do, we have corrections from the previous show. I believe Matt, you noticed this correction upon re-listen. Do you want to let us know what we screwed up?
Yes, sir. So I had mentioned that Star Wars Squadrons came out earlier this year. That is not the case. It came out in October of 2020.
Oh,
So near the end of 2020, unfortunately. You
so
can't you
close.
can't bat 1,000, Paul. You can't. It's impossible.
It's because you're so confident. You're always like, oh, it came out like earlier this year. Or, oh, way out cost like this much. Like you're very like confident about numbers. I'm just like, it's something. That's how you stay awake.
But you know, it's important.
What if it
It's important that
happens?
we correct our mistakes. So
It
here we
is.
are.
Yeah, another awesome thing that we're going to try to do at the start of the show is a little segment we like to call "The Reviews Are In," where we just kind of go through some of the games where the reviews have come out and talk about what we think about the reviews. Often it's probably stuff we haven't actually played, but just kind of interesting to go through and announce them and just go do a little quick overview. So Matt, what do we have this week?
So we're going over two games this week, real quick. Both of them came out today. Mario Golf Super Rush, a sports-based RPG-ish sort of thing,
Yeah.
obviously from Nintendo. A 75 on OpenCritic, maybe a little bit lower than expected.
That sounds
Um,
strange to me because I heard a lot of people saying like this is the best Nintendo Mario sports game in like a decade. People were saying like this was like a really great return to form for Mario Sports. I saw some reviews saying that anyway.
it was very hyped up. I think
Mm,
in the end, people are disappointed. I think there's only 6 courses. Um, Real big emphasis on multiplayer. I know it was said that there's like a really cool, interesting RPG esque single player mode, but I'm not sure if it really
yeah.
lived up to expectations. So I think that's where the
Okay.
lower scores are coming from. But this is a game that I do want to try. I enjoy the Mario
Same.
sports games.
Yep. Me too.
Next on
And
the
what else do we
list,
have?
we have Scarlet Nexus, which is a JRPG, an action JRPG from Bandai Namco. An 80 on OpenCritic, so it's doing pretty well. I'm seeing a lot of praise for it from people
Nice.
online. Um, Not sure if it's up my alley, really, but
We're not really big JRPG guys over on here on the GG replay, but we do try to cover it for you and keep abreast of what's going on.
I'll play a JRPG every once in a while. Don't totally lump me into that.
Okay, I won't lump you into that. That's fair.
Um,
I did play a solid 2 hours of Nier Automata
oh, there you go.
last summer. two
that's
hours.
that's one that that's one that for whatever reason I played the demo when it first came out, and it wasn't for me. But like, love
Mhm.
Persona 5, play Final Fantasy here and there, the Pokemon games. So though even
Yeah,
though those are baby's
I don't
first
know if I.
JRPG,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah. So anyway, happy for the people that are excited about Scarlet Nexus because it looks like it's an 80 is a pretty good score. So
Yeah.
happy for that.
So because they got an 80 and Mario Golf got a 75, is it fair to say that the Scarlet Nexus is a golf game than Mario Golf Super Rush.
I think that's how that works. Yeah.
I think that's how reviews work. I think it's at least a better RPG since they both have RPG somewhere built into
I
them.
think it means
Uh,
that the anime characters in Scarlet Nexus are now the Nintendo mascots.
yes, that makes sense to me.
Yeah,
Well, if you look at any of the new Smash characters, it usually is some kind of like JRPG
that's true.
hero of some kind, anyway. Uh, yeah, speaking of fantastic RPGs that everyone seems to just think are wonderful, Ghosts of Tsushima may be getting a mini expansion for the PlayStation 5. Matt, I feel like you were really following this. Do you want to let us in on what's going on here with this?
Okay, so this is the reporting on this is very minimal. So
I
this
feel like as we were researching this, more like it's trickling out as it's happening during the day here.
a little bit. So Twitter user, and I don't know how this is pronounced, Shapeshaw underscore Nick, is reporting that a standalone expansion called Ghost of Ikishima is looking at a 2021 release for the PS5 and PS4, as Sony has been more apt to go cross generation recently. It should be noted that this is the only like actual report for now. So like there are no major publications reporting this. But this specific Twitter user has been credited as being right on things in the past. So
Okay.
that's
So this
sort
is like a known kind of leaker industry insider
yeah.
or something. Okay.
So that's where this is coming from. But the idea is that this game would be similar in scope to Spider-Man Miles Morales, where it's a shorter, more streamlined version of the original game.
Yeah.
And this would make a lot of
Kind of
sense.
reusing some of the assets of the open world, that kind of thing,
Yeah,
maybe. Because I
yeah.
think Miles Morales definitely did.
This would make a lot of sense. Sucker Punch has done this multiple times already in the past. Infamous 2 had the Festival of Blood
Hmm.
standalone expansion on the PS3, and then Infamous Second Son had the First Light expansion on the PS4, which are both similar to, like I said, Miles Morales. They're shorter campaigns, they're more streamlined. There's not a bunch of side quest collectible stuff necessarily.
Yeah.
Um,
And we see this a lot of first party Sony's like the Uncharted games. Didn't they also have a kind of thing like that, a mini game that came out? Like I remember Miles Morales was getting a lot of comparison to that as well, right?
Yeah, Lost Legacy.
Lost Legacy, yeah. Hmm.
Had that, which is probably one of the best Uncharted games. To be completely honest, it's really good.
Hmm.
But yeah, that was sort of it was, I guess, supposed to be an expansion on Uncharted 4, and then just eventually became its own standalone game.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Sort of like
that's
Miles Morales, which I also think
exactly.
is I found almost a better story to me than the first game. I really liked it. So it's cool to see these kind of like standalone expansions. It's like, hey, we have an open world built. We just want to add an extra like almost full story to it, but we don't want to like rebuild the whole open world and change every mechanic. But like, can we just add more stories? That's
Exactly,
awesome.
exactly.
I love
And
that.
I've heard a lot of praise for Miles Morales, and I haven't played it because
Oh,
I'm saving it for December because I want to play it around Christmas
so
time.
good.
But I've heard really good praise just because it's not bogged down with all the backpacks and the Dr. Octavius mini
Hmm.
games and stuff like that.
Yeah,
It's just like the story. Like that's what we're
it's
focusing
great.
on.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, this sort of thing would work really well for Ghost of Tsushima, and so
Yeah.
um, I would like to give it a shot, and I also want to give Ghost of Tsushima. It's really hard to say. Uh, another chance. This game came out right after The Last of Us Part Two. I had just finished up that game. Was really impressed by it, and so I think I didn't give Ghost a fair shake because of that. Played maybe 10, 12, maybe up to 15 hours, and I thought what I played was pretty good, but it just wasn't hooking me for whatever reason. But
Yeah.
I need to go back and give it another shot.
Sounds good. If you're looking to give it another shot, might not be the specific game for this moment, but you might want to wait for a sale. And I'll tell you right now, Steam is having their summer sale. We all know, we're all excited, sort of, maybe. A lot of companies are starting to kind of ape that, so there's sales across the board.
Hmm.
Sony's also doing sales, Microsoft's doing sales. But Steam Summer Sale, we can't ignore it. We can't pretend it doesn't exist because it's there and it is the progenitor of all of these sales. So just really quick, just kind of wanted to run through a few kind of historic lows, some interesting things that we've noticed so far in Steam Sale. We're only a couple days in. One that I noticed was pretty cool. They're giving away Tell Me Why for free, which is pretty cool. The Don't Nod game, I
Wow.
believe, which is centered around transgendered protagonist. Seems it's pretty cool. I played I'd say a solid like 8 hours of it. I haven't totally finished it, but it's a good game. It's cool to see free games going up on Steam sale. I know Epic and some other
Yeah.
stores are more commonly doing that. Steam usually not, even if it's very, very cheap, there'll be some kind of price attached to it. So interesting to see a free game. Other stuff that I thought was kind of cool. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's even cheaper than it already was. It's almost 70% off. Um, I bought it full price at launch. Hard regret. It's fine, but it wasn't worth the full cost of a AAA game price when it's a kind of a double A game.
That's actually the one
Uh,
thing I saw on the Steam sale where I was like, I might actually finally pull the trigger on
it's
this one.
really fun and cool. And I think for like the price of it, for like $20, it's a great pickup. But for full price, it was not for me. But I think it's a great pickup at $20. A lot of fun, even if you just want to go through and relive the stories. It's not like a lot of these other games where it's like what if scenarios. It's just a full chronological run through of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh,
So it
the whole
perfectly
thing?
scratches that. Yeah, from I guess Z specifically. So from the Saiyan Saga, Frieza Saga, Cell Saga, Buu Saga. So it
Wow.
goes through the whole thing, and you mostly play as like the main heroic character at the time, usually Goku, because that's kind of the whole point of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I would definitely recommend checking it out for $20. A couple other things that are interesting. If for some reason you don't have Game Pass, Outer Worlds is on sale for 60% off. That's a pretty great game. Outer Worlds 2 just got announced, probably pretty far off, so you have time to play it. Um, but that's a pretty good price. And yeah, if you don't feel like getting the free month of Game Pass to try to run through it and you just want to own it, now might be a good chance.
People are still getting
Um,
Game Pass for like $1. I don't know
yeah,
how.
well, actually, so I did again. So I had Game Pass for like, well, I did the thing where you like, I bought like 2 years of gold and then I got Game Pass for $1 and then all the gold converted to Game Pass, which was the dream.
Wow.
But they stopped that now. So now if you get gold, they just immediately turn it to Game Pass time. And
Okay.
it's much less. It's like 4 months, like a year of gold is like 4 months Game Pass time. Like it doesn't really work. So, but I went to get Game Pass back again the other day, and they gave me, even though I'm like a returning subscriber, they gave me $1 for a month, and then I got 2 free months added on too. So I got 3 months for $1, which is pretty sweet as a returning user. Usually if you can only get those deals once, so that was
That is
cool.
crazy.
Yeah, I love it. It's really smart. Another cool game that I thought was a cool deal. Can't stay on this forever, but some of these are really interesting. Skyrim VR, Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim
Oh, sweet.
VR is at a historical low, 75% off. You can pick that up for $15 US. That's pretty bomb. If anyone's looking to get around in Skyrim, I mean, to be honest, if you have a VR setup, you probably have already gotten Skyrim VR if you're really interested in that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I will tell you, $15 if you've been holding out on it, pretty exciting.
Yeah, if you have
Um,
VR and you wanted Skyrim VR, you already got it.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
it is cool. Like 15 bucks if you don't have it and you're not even super into Skyrim. And that's a world that would just be cool to walk around in VR.
Absolutely. And last one, just kind of want to bring up because we talked about it on either the last episode or I think the episode before. A Way Out is on a historical low sale right now, 75% off. You can get that for $7.50.
Whoa, Paul.
I know. Well, you said you own it, don't you? We don't need only one of us needs to own it. Am I crazy?
I don't own it, but you know what? I
Okay.
think it is on EA Play through Game Pass actually.
Okay. Yeah, I think I just saw it on there, but so we can probably do that with PC Game Pass. So cool. But that being said, 75% off, 750. If you don't have Game Pass, it's a really, really good deal. It seems like a lot of the games I'm seeing that are a good deal are games that are already on Game Pass for quote unquote free, which is kind of interesting. And then they're
By the
getting
way, that's a
cheaper.
pet peeve of mine. People saying, "Well, this game's free on Game Pass."
Yeah,
What? What?
I
It's
like
not
to couch
free.
that a little bit. Yeah,
You're paying
it's
for
like
Game
it's
Pass.
included on Game Pass, which
Yeah.
is a great deal, but also is not nothing.
You never hear
Um,
someone say it's free on Netflix.
No, exactly. Oh, it's free on Netflix. Oh, that's on Netflix. That's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'll become more ubiquitous as we see more of that
And I guess
kicking
maybe
over.
just because games are more expensive, so like I
Yeah,
don't
you're
know.
like, that game
It's
is
just
free.
weird.
Like, save your $40. That game is free on Game Pass. Because I guess a lot of people just like have Game Pass or like I just have it, so it's whatever.
Why would you not have Game Pass?
I agree. It is still the best deal in gaming. I think it's really incredible. Game Pass Ultimate is so amazing with PC, with Xbox, with streaming. Really cool stuff. I think you can make some arguments why you wouldn't, but I'm a pretty big
Well,
shill
let me
for.
let me break this down for you real quick.
Yes, please break it down.
Here's what my setup looks like in this generation. Okay, I'm gonna have
Yeah.
my PS5. I got my Switch, and then I'm gonna have Game Pass
Hmm.
Ultimate, and
Yeah.
just when I can, just stream the games.
Yeah.
I'm probably not gonna get Xbox Series X. I'm just gonna have Game Pass and stream the games, or just play them on PC since all the Xbox exclusives are coming there as well.
Yeah, I'm at this point. I don't really have anything next gen, and my PC is kind of old. But I have a launch PS4, launch Xbox One. I am looking to. I might get an Xbox One S, or sorry, Series S, not the Series X. Just as a Game Pass machine, just to kind of have something that runs the games through Game Pass. I can cloud stream at some point maybe from it.
Yeah.
If not, I can use my computer for that and just like stream through my laptop and there's not much going on, so I'm pretty excited for game streaming. That'll be a topic for another day, but definitely one of my favorite things about the current landscape of gaming. To move on to another story, or else we'll get stuck talking about Steam sales forever, and our wallets will be empty, and our libraries will be full of games we'll never play. Let's talk about something you actually can never play again. Ubisoft. Ubisoft has removed Goldeneye Far Cry 5 maps that fans spent 3 years making, is the headline. Basically, what happened was people had some really bomb ass Ubisoft Goldeneye maps and mods they made. Some were really intense and great. And MGM, the owners of the James Bond franchise, filed a copyright infringement claim with Ubisoft. And since Ubisoft is basically distributing these maps themselves, not intentionally, but through the process of allowing a map maker, it's pretty serious business. So they removed them all. How are you feeling about this? I mean, I will say, Matt, too, just to kind of clarify, too, Ubisoft has a history of doing, or sorry, yeah, I keep mixing them up. MGM has a history of doing this. They cease and desisted. Rare actually tried to make a GoldenEye, official GoldenEye remaster of their own game in 2007. MGM copyright striked them. And same thing with a lot of other source mods and things like that as well. What are your
Yeah,
feelings?
I think it's disappointing, obviously, for this guy to have spent 3 years making this, and now
Yeah,
it's gone.
yeah.
Um, One thing I do want to say is I see a lot of people blaming Kotaku for giving this, putting this out there,
Mhm.
and then it getting taken down. Kotaku only really knew about it because this guy was posting about it, so
Yeah,
he was putting it out there on his own. Um, But yeah, I mean, I still feel bad. Obviously, you don't want to see something like this happen. These maps were really cool. I watched the video
yeah.
and saw the screenshots, and it was it was a replica
Really
of the
incredible.
007 maps. And
And I just feel like
um,
who's really is anyone buying an Ubisoft? Is anyone buying Far Cry 5 so they can play the GoldenEye map? Because I think that's really where you get into it being a worthwhile lawsuit or something
maybe a
from
couple people
for
after they saw
MGM.
it, I don't know. But
I
um,
yeah.
the
Who's making money off of this,
the map editor, I will say, is really cool in Far Cry
Mhm.
5. But yeah, I don't know if maybe this has something to do with the fact that there is, IO Interactive has Project 007 coming at some point. We'll find out about that. I don't know if, MGM saw this as something they needed to stomp out because that announcement maybe is imminent or something. I don't know, but
Definitely
um,
seems like they're lawsuit happy in general, though, judging by the last few decades of their attempts to squash any sort of fan projects.
yeah, that's true. So it's just disappointing. If you have a chance, though, look at the videos that they had of the maps, because they were really impressive. They looked really cool, and you
Yeah.
know, this is one of those things where like it would have been cool to like hop in and play on these maps, but like the video does it for me. I don't need to go play it.
Yeah.
I'm impressed by the video. It's awesome that this guy did this, and it sucks that he lost his stuff.
That's the worst part, I think.
But
Yeah.
the fact that he still at least has the video to show like this is a project I did, that's still kind of cool.
That's cool. And it shows what people can do with that editor. It shows what people can do with creativity and what this person can do. And so I hope they move on to bigger and better things. And this is a good, media frenzy and launching off point maybe for this person's game development
Yeah.
career maybe or something. Yeah. kind of totally off kilter, but the other day, yesterday, we had a big Windows 11 event, Microsoft event, and Microsoft announced Windows 11. It's beautiful. It's got rounded corners. It's the toolbars in the middle. Insanity.
Wait,
But more or
really?
less, yeah. So yeah, the toolbars, everything is pretty much the same, but the toolbars in the middle. I'm kidding. There's a lot of background stuff. You can also move it to the far left if you still want to, but that's kind of their new thing is to try to make it kind of like they're not saying this, but it kind of looks like the Mac app dock kind of in the middle, but it's still the toolbar, but it's just kind of in the middle a bit.
In the
I
middle
don't
of
know if
the
I said
screen?
in the middle enough. No, no, just in the bottom still, but just kind of shifted
Oh,
along.
okay. All right.
Yeah. But yeah, unrelated to that, or slightly related, there are some reports coming out that Windows 11 might just be the best Windows yet for gaming. Of course, you might assume that, but they actually specifically spent some time talking about it and talking about some of the technologies that they're hoping to use on Windows 11 that they also use on some of the new Xbox Series consoles, namely direct storage. Direct storage is an API that they use. So basically, I'm not an expert, but to kind of explain it to you, Matt, too, you know how we all have these really fast SSDs now that kind of like cut down on loading times and make things faster. A lot of the actual APIs and the systems that are connected to and the operating systems connected to the hard drives, the SSDs, can't really make the best use of that speed because they still
Mm,
funnel everything through the CPU and they have these systems to go through in a strange way. Essentially, the direct storage API allows not only does it allow basically the SSD and the reading of the hard drive to go straight through to your video memory and your graphics card, kind of bypassing or shooting through the CPU without getting kind of bogged down in the CPU, which we all kind of know with like PC gaming or gaming PCs. A lot of time you can get throttled by your CPU.
right.
So it kind of goes through all that, skipping a step a little bit, and then also it allows for more kind of parallel. Pieces of information going at once.
Oh,
So basically, the benefits here, you're going to have better CPU efficiency. So even if your CPU isn't quite as strong, you're going to be able to get better gaming performance. But also, we're going to see a lot slower load times. Sometimes you'll get an SSD and you'll be like, I was expecting my load times to be
slower load
instant, and they
time?
weren't. What's that?
Slower load times?
Oh, sorry, I'm missing my read. Faster load times.
Oh, okay.
Yes, much faster load times. So essentially, yeah, normally you expect your SSD to work really well, but this is actually going to enable some of the speeds of the SSD to really work the best and get right to your graphics card. Also, it's going to help with less pop-in, more actual textures and things are going to be able to get there quicker. So we're going to see a lot less, hopefully, of things like getting stuck in an elevator while everything kind of loads in the background and they have
Right,
to kind of
right.
procedurally generate and that kind of thing. That's going to be able to move a lot quicker. So it's pretty cool. It's a little bit up there, but it's interesting to see Microsoft kind of paying some attention to gaming because we don't always hear so much about that straight from MS. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see them take some of the technology they put into the Xbox and then kind of take that and put it into PCs too. So
Well,
pretty excited.
I know that the who's the head of Microsoft right now?
That is Satya Nadella.
Okay, so whoever the okay, I don't I'm not gonna try to repronounce the name. I'll have to look at it first. Um, I know the head of Microsoft recently said like we're totally committed to gaming or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So I wonder if this was just them sort of reiterating that even further in this Windows 11 event, which is
Yeah.
cool. I mean,
Cool. They
it's
didn't spend a long time on it, but it's just kind of cool to be like, hey, just so you know, we're doing something to make it better. So that's pretty exciting.
that's great for people who like games. I mean,
No
any
one
news
else
like that is
is
good news. It's good news.
absolutely, especially when you see stuff like Mac OS and other things. Like, I mean, they already weren't really for gaming, and they're just kind of even shifting further and further away from AAA gaming. It's nice to see Windows kind of double down and be like, hey, don't worry, we're staying put. We are the gaming system
Yeah.
for you. So it's pretty cool. And then Matt, you have kind of your interesting tale here that you want to kind of get
Yeah.
into a little bit. So
I don't want to dive too deep into this for many different reasons, but so the trailer application, yes, trailer application for Abandoned, which is the temporary name for a game by Blue Box Studios, was delayed to August. So this is supposed to be an application in which you use to view a trailer for Abandoned. Um, and the studio is apparently Blue Box Studios. I say apparently because there's a lot of mystery behind this whole thing. So this reveal was supposed to be today, but the announcement, they announced this morning that they were delaying it to August. Again, I don't want to really go into this thing a whole lot more, but I do highly recommend that you read up on this whole mystery.
There is a fascinating conspiracy theory afoot, and it's worth checking out. It's an internet urban legend of sorts. That's
Especially
worth checking out.
if you're a fan of Hideo Kojima and you aren't already aware of this, which is probably not the case, but if you are, read up on this. Whether these clues or coincidences really are going to lead to anything or not, it's really fascinating and some good weekend reading material for you.
Mm-hmm. I would love. I wish we had like a show notes or something. I would love. Would you recommend a place to kind of like find more information on this that you found a lot? I tried to look it up and I didn't really find like great resources to kind of dive into the story, like to go through all the steps of it. I kind of just found like BBC and people writing like an article about it. Did you
Yeah,
like? Was it mostly a Reddit thing for you? Like I think there's a
mostly
subreddit for it, right?
mostly a Reddit thing. If you just search Reddit or not search Reddit, search Blue Box Studios or just search Blue Box on Reddit and search by communities and whatever the larger communities are. Just go there. There's one subreddit that has like the story so far recap from.
Perfect.
I think they
That's
posted
cool.
it yesterday. This is a long, really interesting read. All these coincidences. Again, like I don't want to. I
Yeah,
don't
I don't.
want to
Yeah,
give it too much attention because if it is all just actually coincidences, I feel really bad for the
that's
studio.
that's what I was gonna say too. Is that a lot of the stuff I picked up on is that at least the supposed whatever you want to say, the head of Blue Box Studios, as far as we're aware, seems pretty upset overall of the reactions and things they're getting and all the attention they're getting for this.
But I will say,
So if it's true, is all I'm sorry. If either way, if it's true or not true, just like try to be kind. If anyone's
yeah.
listening to this,
Oh
just
yeah, yeah.
don't get too aggressive. Don't get too like you're lying, you're not real. Like
I will
try to
say
like
like
give these people some.
if they really wanted to make this problem go away, they could do it in 5 seconds. Okay, so like the two big things that stick out to me, and again, I don't want to linger on this, but the two big things that stick out to me are
As we linger. Yep.
one, Sony is highly invested in this, and they have not made any sort of statement. I feel like at this point, with all the speculation that's been going on and all of this, they would have made some sort of statement where they're like, we stand by Blue Box Studios. We have full confidence and trust in them, faith in them, whatever. That hasn't happened. The other thing is, Abandoned, like I said, is the temporary name. It's not the actual name of the game. You can end this whole thing right now by just saying what the name of the game is. Just tell us that it's not Silent Hills.
Yeah.
Or
And also
Silent
the
Hill.
name, I mean,
And
God, I don't want to get into it forever, but just the idea, an application for a game, Hideo Kojima, that's you. I know it's you in there. Anyway,
I mean, they said
I don't
the
know.
title of our game starts with an S and ends with an L. Like you knew what you were doing when you posted
At the
that.
very least, they're inviting some kind of conspiracy, regardless of if it's true or not. It seems like they kind of want it a little
The
mystery
general
and everything.
consensus at this point seems to be that it was just a guy who was enjoying the ride of enjoying this wave of conversation, and then it just got way too deep and way in over his head. But you know what, who knows what to believe. I guess we'll find out in August.
Yeah. Hot take, really quick. We'll write it down in the book. Don't have to explain it. Don't have to talk about it at all. Do you think it's real? Or do you think it's fake? Do you think it's real? Do you think it could? If you had to guess if it's going to be Silent Hills or not, what would you say right now based on what you've seen?
The coincidences are just too there's
All
too
right.
much
So
there.
Matt thinks it's Silent Hills. All right. So we will find out in August if it is truly Silent Hills. I mean, I hope so. I was so excited for that game. So if it's anything like that, I'm very excited. Can we use Norman Reedus twice after we moved him to Death Stranding? Is he no longer available for Silent Hills? Do we have to get Andrew Lincoln? We'll have to find out.
I will say that this whole thing has gotten so crazy that my wife is even asking me for updates every day. She's like, is there anything new that you've seen?
Always fun when there's like a story like that to follow. It's a good time. All right. Well, speaking of a good time, I hope you guys have had a great time with the GG replay today. It's been a little looser today, Friday. You know, we're kind of relaxing and talking about some new stuff, sales and reviews and all that. So I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. I hope everyone's staying safe. You have a lot of reading to do, a lot of games to buy and probably never play sitting in your Steam library. So get excited. I think there was something cool I wanted to get for free on the Epic Game Store. What was it? People were talking about it before we go.
There's a racing game of some sort.
Oh, Sonic Mania.
Oh,
Just a
that
heads
too.
up to
Oh,
everyone, because
Jesus
I think it's
Christ.
the best Sonic game to come out since the original Sonic games. Return to form, Sonic Mania, for Sonic's 30th birthday out on Epic Game Store. So go check that out too. There's lots of free stuff. Tell me why, Sonic Mania. And yeah, have a great weekend.
Real quick.
Oh.
Corrections. If you have corrections, put them in the YouTube comments below if you're on the YouTube video. If you're an audio only listener, you can email us at ggreplayshow@gmail.com with any corrections, comments, or concerns. And
we have an email.
There was one other thing I wanted to say. What was it, Paul?
Podcast?
Oh, yes. You're a smart boy. Yeah, the podcast. 6 a.m. this Sunday, the podcast.
Ooh, Eastern time.
Game Groofs is what it's called. Okay, Game Groofs podcast. Episode 1 is coming this Sunday, Eastern, 6 a.m. Check it out.
Check it out. It's we've been kind of teasing it for a few days now, and this is at Game Groofs. We've got some new people joining us. We're gonna kind of round out the Groofs and get you lots of awesome, fascinating, and fun personalities to listen to. That is finally it, as we've teased you for moments. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Take care, guys.